safety portfolio. As a politician, you get your relevance, popularity through the work that you do, the issues that you do drive. There's farm matters in the province. I want to raise it under my name, issue out a statement. What am I told? You can't raise that. You can't raise it. Why? No, let the Lisa raise it. He's white. He's a farmer. I like to believe that I'm the best. Yes, the loan itself, it is how it is. I am not supposed to prosper. I was never wanted. Actually, let me work hard. Because if I allow them to push me out, my political career was going to be done at that point.
All you knew is a white leader has chose money.
Yes, maladministration, allegations of him manipulating the Congress because at one time he had delegates on his farm. So, those allegations were there, but you don't know what is what.
These are typical ANC issues.
Yes, even if you go into Google now, you Google what was said, the Congress was put on hold, administrators came, Jess Masango and the current Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly. They did come, I'm the whip, he's...
My shade politically incorrect. We've got a young leader with us here. She's going to tell us about lots of things that we do not know about the Democratic Alliance and how she served in the Limpopo Legislature. I don't know how to handle this one, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let her speak and then I'm going to ask her questions. I think for you is just to know that she's going to tell us stories about the Democratic Alliance and her serving as the youngest in South Africa. And we're going to ask her, then what? What happened to your career? Machine politically incorrect, as I let her take us through. Kate Dume.
Toela.
Ore.
Ushaf. I'm fine. Okay. A bit nervous, but I'm fine. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
It's okay. It's okay. Yes. So I'm going to start it this way. Hemen Mashaba.
Yes.
Says the black leaders at DA were an experiment that did not work. And around the time that they let those black experiments go, around that time, you were also let go.
Yes.
But let me do this. Firstly, start, how did DA pick you up and how did they, we call it parachuting. How did they parachute you? And then you take us through the journey. What is interesting is how they found you and how did you jump the queue
to the higher position.
Yes.
I joined strangely, I was not recruited. I was self-recruited. I joined the Democratic Alliance in June of 2012. What made me to have an interest in politics, there was a case of GBV in my community. So you start asking around questions like the response of police not coming on time, who's the local councillor, who's the ward councillor. And because I come from Mankweng Township, famously known as your Peter Mkava areas, your Mamdres Mashamba. So obviously I went into politics looking into parties. I mean, by then I was 20 years, man. I was doing my basic research, not from a policy level, but rather from representation level. So yes, I joined the Democratic Alliance. I saw Lindwe Mazibuko standing in Parliament doing her speeches with her red lipstick. And I was like, okay, I saw myself in her. And yes, I joined the Democratic Alliance, wrote emails, got connected to the provincial office. And I started being active. I launched a branch in Mankweng Township, Toronto, to be correct. I went to Toronto Primary School, Mountain View, public schools. And I launched a branch in the Democratic Alliance. But along the way of launching the branch, you start getting hints there, people telling you that you're in the wrong party, but you're not paying attention to it. I was looking for a venue to launch a branch. We had delis whereby Nilis Paza Shopriana. And I went there to ask for a venue. And the person who was asking the venue from was Ndate Philip Manale. If you know him, a very ANC, strong ANC person in the Mankweng in Toronto. And he was like, my conscience can't allow me to have, a white party here in Delhi. But you can go and lodge elsewhere. But nonetheless, we are proud of you. You've taken the baton forward of politics. Keep doing whatever that you're doing and serve the Black constituency. So from then, I started being in the DA, started being active, launching branches, and I became the branch chair. And I started being active. And they sent me to represent the party to youth parliament. And I wrote my own speech. I got there. Remember, I don't know anything. I just, researched with my BlackBerry, and they're saying books were not delivered. And I'm like, books were not delivered. And the Speaker for the Secretary of Parliament kicks me out of the Secretary of Parliament. Now the SAPC journalists are, asking me questions. I'm like, Eva, this is serious. This is politics. And I think that is when the DA started paying attention to me that, okay, she's vocal. She can put her foot down and debate. I got them media hits that a DA youth person was kicked out of the youth sector of parliament. So yes, they paid attention to me from then.
And so in the ANC, they speak about party to party, region to party, or
What to what?
Limpopo, American province to national. That's how they put their people into. There's a process of the ANC.
Yes.
How does it work in the DA? How did you find yourself in the provincial legislature?
I call myself an accidental MPL, an accidental parliamentarian. I was at the right place at the right time. Young and vocal. The party was transitioning, though I wasn't aware because I was still new. And like I said, I did join. I remember back then the provincial chairperson said, come be part of the Blue Blitz. So I became part of some campaign. It was being called Blue Blitz by then. So I did join and I started being active. And
which years was that?
That was around 2012 and 2013. It was quite fast because I got in 2014.
Did you work level Silas Brank?
Remember, Silas Brank, remember I'm from Limpopo.
Yes, Silas Brank worked around Limpopo, I bet around the same time.
Yes, you see, so I'm not aware. Remember, back then I'm still young and I'm new. I'm at this party. I'm hopeful. I'm seeing a party for all South Africans. So I am working with the provincial chairperson by then, was Lindy Wilson. And I am just there with councillors who are allocated in Mankweng. So I'm busy, I'm working, I'm pushing. And one councillor, Fanitzel, I said to him, but now he's in job. And he says to me, did you apply for the MPL thing? I'm like, no, I didn't apply. So it's like, no, you should apply and see how far you go. So I did apply for the MPLs. I'm not an alumni for the DA Young Leaders, so they did not groom me, to be an MPL. Hence why I say I'm an accidental politician for them. I went to interviews. I did well, though now looking back, I get to realize that there were a lot of internal politics, and I was the young Black woman who was there at the right time, and I did well in my interview. I remember a lady, Astrid Basson, who was one of my mentors. She said to me, she pulled me to the side and said, when a time comes for the list to be released, don't believe anyone who said, I need you. You are here because you did well. And I was eventually number 3 on the list, now starting to campaign. Now we must campaign. Now real politics are coming. And everybody's like, who's this new girl? Who's this young Black girl? And remember, now I'm happy I'm going to go into parliament. Then I quickly got into realizing that things are not as shiny as they looked. But obviously, you're not thinking, Lore, the problem is the party. You're just thinking that it is individuals, You're reaching into campaign meetings, you're sitting down, and a PR councillor asks, where are you going to get the 35,000, a candidate fee that we pay after elections? And when you read into the rules, you can pay it in 6 months installment. Then you realize that people were just trying to put harms so that you can fade. You can fade. They're asking you, do you have a driver's license? So I had to quickly pay 8 rand and book, go traffic department because I'm opposite to it at home, and go at least have a learner's driver's license to say, I have this, don't remove me on the list. Because every time you reach into a meeting, you're being threatened, we will remove you. get this number of door-to-doors. Then I'm going home to say, hey, things are tough. Looks like I'm not going to Parliament. And my grandmother is on pension, says, Katli, what is needed? My mom is like, what is needed? What do these white people want from you? I'm saying this number. And my grandmother, we ended up spending 6,000 from our own pocket. I mean, a pensioner. My mom is unemployed. My grandmother is on pension. Just so we can put posters, there's a mini video that one journalist did on me. So you pay the van, the bikies, the people, the labor, just so you can hang, because you're just dumped to campaign on your own to reach targets with hope that you are not new, you will fail. Councillors are not going to assist, of course. I mean, it's not our elections, not local government elections, parliamenting. So there's no support, assistance from the office. You're being threatened from
So
left, right, and center.
you're saying you ran your own campaign from your pocket?
Yes.
The target was 6,000. What?
No. My friend, my grandmother used 6,000.
6,000. And what were you targeting? How many placards?
They dumped, I think by then they gave me 100 placards. They came home and offloaded it in a DA baggie. And, you have to see, you have to hang. Remember, the DA is not known. I had to write an email to say I want to join. That tells you about visibility.
Yes.
So there's no teams. Who's going to help me? There's a white party. There's an ANC stronghold. I'm young. I don't know politics. So my grandmother said, let's do what needs to be done. Assist you, pay whoever, get a bike, go do your hangings. Councillors are not answering phones. They're not coming to the party to help me campaign. So yes, I had to spend. I remember we were attending meetings in Polokwane, and one campaign manager, she would sit there and said, bring your door-to-doors, so whereby you go and campaign people, 100 of them a day. Weekly admin, and then you deliver every Tuesday. We had bi-weekly campaign meetings. And it's impossible. I mean, you go to a person, give me your ID for the Democratic Alliance. Nobody's going to allow that. So I ended up hiring 2 ladies to go do door-to-door for me, and then I would just copy them and submit to the Democratic Alliance. And they were quite surprised because I was reaching those targets, hey? And I remember one leader who stays in Zanin.
Who's auditing you, sorry?
At that time, it was Councillor Andrea Borda. So she was the campaign manager for Polokwane.
You, out of interest,
Yes.
with Andrea Borda, just about everyone you named who was a superior was white.
Yes. Yes, everybody was white. The lady, an MP who stays in Zanin, she would drive through R71. She's an MP, drive through R71. And in the campaign meeting, she would say to me, we don't hang the board on a robot. We shouldn't have hanged it. Remember, I'm new, I don't know. So instead of coming and supporting you, they would rather chastise you and say you did something wrong. And obviously, I needed numbers in my community to introduce myself. And I looked for funding at the office. They gave me 2,000 to cook meals and hire a tent. And because my grandmother's part of society, Lodana, when you hire a tent as a member, you hired 100 rand, a cookie, using our electricity, just so we have an event, just so people can understand what the Democratic Alliance was. Because at that time, man, I was just passionate about the party and being in politics and being a young leader. I was not even sure that I would end up in Parliament at that time.
So 2024, you are sworn in.
2014.
2014,
yes,
sorry. 2014, you are sworn in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Take us through, because what I want to do is I want to check 2024, you come in.
2014, yes.
2014. I keep saying 2024.
I got kicked out 2024.
Yeah. Because I'm rushing to how.
You're rushing to the end.
Yes. Just tell us very quickly the key things, that milestones within the 10 years that you have served. Then we can talk about the 2024.
I took an oath in 2014. I think a lot of people might think that I was excited, when IEC declared to say the youngest is 22, the oldest by then. I think it was MANCOSA, he was the oldest. And the EFF was also new. I remember being on Twitter and a person saying, no, the youngest definitely comes from the EFF. And I was like, okay, that comes from the DA. And I kept on waiting for the party to to confirm that I'm from the party. You know, we do media statements, and nobody wanted to own me, actually. It was through a journalist who was doing a documentary on me as a candidate, who then wrote on Mail and Guardian, and then, you know, it was on SAPC. I remember Gaurelo, a very good journalist, coming to interview me. That was when reality clicked to say, okay, I'm quite big. These people drove all the way to Bakersford to come and interview me. But then, I mean, it is a wake-up call. You realize that the fight is on. You are not supported as a new MPL, except that they took me to Germany. I mean, it was just a tick in the box to say, go to Germany. Wait, let's go to Germany. You know, I went through the Frederick Naumann Foundation, and we get there, meeting leaders from across continents, you know, but you are not really there to learn anything about the Democratic Alliance. And I quickly learned that the legislature is where the hidden gems are, because cameras in action are in the National Assembly, and a lot of power and manipulations happens in provincial legislatures, in caucuses. I mean, you would go to the sitting in the legislature. Remember, you're being told that you're going to sit with this corrupt ANC people and EFF people, and we are three in the legislature. I'm young. Now we are sitting in committees. Committees are made up of 6 to 7 members. I'm one DA, and it's ANC, then it's EFF. And
Hold it. So how many seats did
we got 3?
We got 3
in 2014.
In 2014 in Limpopo.
Yes, in Limpopo.
And then Wena and 2 others. Do you remember who are these 2 others?
Yes, by then it was the provincial leader, Jacques Malé, and he was ranked number 2. Number 1 was the premier candidate, was Langa Botlane. And then I came in as Katlego Suzan Phala, ranked number 3.
Number 3. Okay. And then when you get into the different committees, you are saying, and then at every committee you'll be alone.
Yes, and remember the committees, you're given communities, strategically committees, I mean. I'm young, you're new, I mean, nobody knows you. Let's give you sports and culture, social development. Let's give you people with disability. Nobody really knows you. And maybe a big portfolio. Okay, fine, transport and community safety, but something big. But just give her the smaller ones, you know. Because they thought that I wouldn't be able to do much with what was given. You would fail. We have a PDMS whereby they monitor you, you know, every now and then. So obviously, what are you going to do? What issues are you going to drive with, according to them, with sports, arts and culture? So I reached to these portfolio committees. I'm young. I don't know anything. Remember, I was not trained. The trainings that were there, like, they were not aligning me to the legislature as an MP. I remember I've never been a councillor. Never sat in local municipality, never sat in district. Now I'm in parliament. And with these old people, now you have to tell them you're not doing your job. I remember a person who, you know, stretched over to me was Mam Joyce Mashamba, and she said, you know what? We know these are white people. Why not just continue working and taking care of your family and constituency, the black constituency? But if they say do whatever to me, you know, do it, may her soul rest in peace. She's one of the people that were politically matured. They welcomed me with warm arms. I remember Mami Diako Mabe. She was very, very old. I sat with her in the committee of people with disability. I learned a lot, you know, from that committee. I sat on petitions because Ntatenong was there. So I learned the ropes through the opposition. I remember the EFF was also new. Borapila were there, Bubutani when he was still in the EFF. So I was assisted by the opposition and not my own party, because how dare we empower you to perform well? We need you to fail and not do the things that you should do, so that when you go to the PDMS, you've got nothing to show that you were working. So yes, and after also, I think what I must also mention, going back to the 35,000, now previously I learned that you can pay the 35,000 in installments. So now I've taken the oath, I'm getting a salary.
I want us to clarify that 35,000. What are you paying?
It's a candidate fee.
Yes, and who are you paying?
To the Democratic Alliance.
Why are you paying?
You're a candidate because we gave you t-shirts to campaign, we gave you posters, we gave you pamphlets, we gave you funding even though I funded myself, those kind of things. So you're paying for that. Everyone pays. Although a councillors, it differs based on different municipalities. So now I'm in. I pay the first 2 installments, 5,000, 5,000. Then the provincial leader says to me, you know what, you don't have to pay. We can just go to any donor and he or she will donate that money, will write it off as your name, and then the party will write off the 35,000. So you won't have to pay. I tell my mom, I'm relaxed. I mean, I'm going to save money. I sit there. Time goes, time goes. Remember, we got income May. Time goes, time goes. October now is coming. I get an email to say, you are left with 2 months to pay this remaining amount or else you're gone. Remember, you signed the candidate applying. So you can't say, and I did not know you signed it. So you quickly then realize that this was a trap to actually get me out as early as possible. As the PA, she was like, no, there's no meeting set for you to go see the donor. So I quickly just had to pay over the money so that I can secure myself. And while I'm busy fighting the internal politics, you would also get people say, they're going to kick you out. Don't say we told you so. And in my heart, I'm like, guys, you don't even know. I'm already fighting. I know. And remember, coming from public schools, I think one of the things that really put me upside down, early on in the days was that there was no social cohesion. Black schools, your classmate is black, your teacher is black. So I don't know these white people. I see them on Days of Our Lives and the Bold and the Beautiful. Now I'm working with them. I'm learning. It's a culture shock how they live. I'm learning how manipulative they are. It was quite a journey in the first 2 years.
5,000 per month is what you were budgeting for.
Yes, that is what I was budgeting for. But I remember it was 35,000 in total. Yes.
And I want to understand this part. 5,000 is what you were giving them every month, or you were invested to give them. How much were you earning, plus minus?
When we came in, I think in 2014, we were earning around 38,000.
Okay, what?
But that was also quite a bummer, if I can, on a lighter note, it was quite a bummer because Twitter said I was going to earn 75,000 and I get there, I'm earning 38,000.
Yeah, was no problem. So, but all of this, and how much, what were you taking home?
No, that was, our take home was 38,000.
Was 38?
Yes.
Okay, it's fine. And you were around 20?
Yes.
Around 20?
No, 22 years.
Around 22.
Yes.
Okay, you were 22 and taking home 38.
Yes.
Maybe that 75,000 wasn't bad. It was just what they were. Okay. So, but by all intents and purposes, I want to state that I know other political parties who have ways of paying back the organization. So, what are other things that you were expected to pay the DA?
No, it's just only that.
Only that.
Just
the rest of the stuff, the DA pays for itself.
Yes, the rest of everything they pay for.
You were not expected to buy a buggy?
No, not buying a buggy. I bought myself a Polo TSI.
Okay.
As a new driver, and you'd get to areas and everybody looks at you like, oh, shame. Because people are expecting parliamentarian to be dressed in Louis Vuitton in a Mercedes Benz. And I'm new to money. I know poverty. I'm not going back, so I'm not going to spend 800,000 on a car. So I just got myself, a Polo TSI then as a new person. Okay. So yes. And I think with the legislature as well, and like I in our conversations, I did highlight that I also became a whip of the caucus, but that was in 2019. There were some internal plays of one of the colleagues that I served with, but that is his story to share. And I took his position, and then I became a whip of the Democratic Alliance, ensuring that there's communication between the Democratic Alliance and the legislature, attending programming meetings, ensuring that we get proper minutes and, just to ensure that everything is being run well. And yeah.
So the reason I think Bo Helen Zille and stuff, they call you guys experiments, and I did tell you about the word parachuting, is because most of you, a friend of mine called Ufente, usually sits where you sit, and him and I exchange words, a debater. He's in the provincial legislature of Gauteng.
Okay.
Yes, much like you, he didn't come to DA with previous
Politics,
stuff like that. Yeah, he doesn't come from that. It's not like Kwena Moloto. You know Kwena? Yes, he's much like you. And I want to frame it like you. I think the reason they are calling you experiments, they wanted to check that. We see me now speaking for the DA. They wanted to check if this experiment can work. If it can work, then it can give people who are political, but the queue line that we follow at ANC, EFF, and Kai is too long. So people who are activists will then come to the DA. In a way, that experiment, I don't see any problem with it. Because let's be honest, the DA is known for promoting, even if it's parachuting, they were promoting, I don't want to say excellence, but the best that they could get. You see, that one.
I like to believe that I'm the best.
Yes, the way they were really doing that. So I want to say I can't fault them because I know other political parties who are doing things even worse. So why did they get rid of you?
You're saying experiments.
Yes.
I'm not shying away from being an experiment. I don't have, I mean, I've been called worse. I have no shame. But I want to say that I was an accidental parliamentarian. I was not part of the experiment. The experiment goes through your DASUs. The experiment goes through your DA young leaders. Every year they apply. You know, your alumni, they are there. I could name your Gideon Lewis, a part of the, and other, your Mbalin Julius, and other young black leaders, your Ghana Magashul. They've been part. I did not go. I actually applied and they rejected me. While, you know, early on in 2012, I did not get the space. So I was an accidental one. The plan was that I did so well in the interview, an independent interview. I was there. I performed well. I was on the place. From the corridors, talks on the corridors, the guy behind me was not supposed to be in. So keep her in for a year and we will get rid of her because party list changed after a year with IEC. So I survived all of that. I quickly learned what was going on. I came to terms of where I was. And most people would ask, then why continue sitting in the Democratic Alliance if you quickly saw in 2 years that, okay, this is a party is quite racist, is against black leadership. When you are in there, you are channeled to fight for blackness. You are channeled to fight for being excellent. I'm black and I know that I'm the best. I was not going to let anybody bully me. You're going to punch me, I'm going to kick. So I like to say I'm an accidental parliamentarian who survived the system. And they had no choice but to let me be up until a certain point whereby they couldn't have me within the party. For example, earlier on, you get 2 debates in the legislature, you're told, there's a debate on this, on your portfolio. Here's a speech. Next week you come, we can't do your speech anymore, draft, and then we'll take it from there. Next week is no longer draft, write your own speech. I've never been to council. I'm still new, no training. So they were preempting for me to fail, and I kept on rising. We've got oversight visits that one must do. The leader goes out with the researchers, and you want to book a researcher. You can't book a researcher because the leader has already booked them. Now I have to do loan counselor. I remember my first oversight was at Vanavatari Special School with my mom in Harrogton there. And I said, this is my PA. I see parliamentarians here, they have PAs. I'm like, this is my PA. You know, just so I could get myself in and have a media statement. And also, that does not mean you're going to come back and survive. You went into my constituency. Remember, I stay in Polokwane. I sit on several committees. You're going to do a visit of a special school or a library in Waterberg district. You have to do a media statement that will tell you it's not your constituency, it's somebody else's constituency. I was given blowback, Molamole, Skukuni, and Letaba. We'll touch on constituencies, how constituencies that you're given are as a failure for you in the long run. So you can't raise those media statements because you went there as a DA person. Early on, I had to deliberately wear T-shirts written Limpopo Legislature. I had to buy blazers from Snappers to say I actually went there as a member of the legislature so that statements can come out in my name. It might look like a small thing, but you issue out a statement on the oversight visit that you've done. Radio calls you for interview. You report in the group. We've got a WhatsApp group. That is the monitoring spirit of a WhatsApp group. Have a media statement. 4 radio stations called me. A newspaper wrote my statement. This one is shining. Do a media statement for the leader. The leader has a media statement. But when the leader has a media statement, you can't issue it out. Give it 2 days for his statement to breathe so that you don't overshadow his thing. So when you go into PDMS, you are expected to fail. So if you are performing during your own oversight visits, doing your statements, getting all the media hits, and jiki, your machine is, and maybe as a journalist, they call you and say, there's an issue in Hoedspruit, give us a counselor then. It's not my constituency. Obviously, I'm going to say to the political head, there's a journalist, they want to do an interview on this thing. They sit down drinking coffee. She has become the face of the Democratic Alliance. So I was the go-to person. I was shining more than I was outshining the master if I can. That was my
you
problem.
broke the rule yourself.
Yes, I broke the rule myself.
All right. What do you regret? What do you think because a lot of the things that you are saying, I find, so for example, you can't claim you did not know they were racist.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I can claim.
Yes.
I can. Remember,
so you're saying you were so...
It will sound as if I'm contradicting myself because politics is not a straight line.
Yeah.
Remember, I got into the Democratic Alliance. It's a good party. I'm an activist and all of that. And now I'm a candidate. You're picking up attitudes of human beings. You're just thinking, Mashian is the problem. He's the problematic one. After 2 years, then you realize that
the system
is the system itself. It is how it is. I am not supposed to prosper. I was never wanted. Actually, let me work hard. Because if I allow them to push me out, my political career was going to be done at that point. I was going to be labeled as a loser, a failure who couldn't take the heat as a young parliamentarian. Because I remember one morning while I was still new, a big radio station, a caller was like, she's so young. What's she going to do with the money? She's going to drink and all of that. So I ended up losing the youthness in me to prove everybody wrong that I can do it. I'm capable. And when you're being told that you don't belong here, my blackness, my aggressiveness rose up, and I said, I'm going to prove you with hard work. And I was not in caucuses, like they would name your black caucuses and whatever. I did not have friends in the DA. I was a loner. I was working alone in constituencies. You're being attacked by your councillors. I'm the political head by name, and your councillors are old enough to be your mom, your dad. They won't listen to you. They go straight to the leader. The leader overrides everything. Like I said earlier on, you're being given constituencies based on, what is there. You're being given Blueberg, you're given Mola. It's a constituency, no issue. But when you get into the meeting, you realize the budget is coming. Your budget is small. You can't do enough door-to-doors with activists on the ground. You can't perform. You can't do enough campaigning, And then you realize that you're getting a budget based on the number of votes that you got in the previous election. So obviously, Blue Black is predominantly a black Letaba as well. And I worked hard, and there were increased results in 2016. But the underfunding ensures that you don't have a gazebo. You don't have enough T-shirts. Your team does not have enough for food, for water. You're being told if the event is less than 2 hours, there's no bottle of water. You will only drink after 2 hours. You're going on the ground. These are my people. I look like them. It looks as if we're now under a budget. Also coming into gazebos, those that know during elections, because it was also one of my constituencies. It's a white VD, you're still bought. There's a gazebo there for white people to be professional. And then you go to rural wards, there's no gazebos. Then you start realizing, no, actually here, things are not right. And you start, to try to fight for your people, to say, don't fight to be a party agent. You guys won't get funding. But when you caution them, it's like you're fighting, they'll fight you back. No, we want to mend the VGs as well, like in town. And I know at the back of my head that funding will not come. I remember buying food to activists as well to just try to assist them. So those were the challenges that one faced within the constituency. Mm-hmm.
You are an example of thrown into the deep end.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Do you, because that's the question that I asked you previously, do you think you swam or you sank?
I swam a decade, 10 years.
Yes, and that's a good thing. On all of those, where do you blame yourself? The reason I want you to answer this is because I want to know what broke the camel's back. Where do you blame yourself in the 10 years that you served with the DA? Where do you think, we see here, it wasn't the DA. This was me. This was me getting school fees. I was kicked in the teeth because I didn't know better. I should have done this. Where do you regret?
Definitely, I have no regrets.
It's fine. So let me ask the second question. Why did they get rid of you? Did you just not make it? Because remember, it's popularity contest, right?
Yes.
So about Kuba, did they get rid of you or you did not? Because politics, you must contest for forever.
Yes.
What happened?
That's what we call constructive dismissal. That was it. Being ranked number 3 in 2014, ranked number 2 in 2024, and ranked number 10 in 2024.
Yes.
On the provincial list. What led to that? Maybe a few minutes of unpacking. When the party started retransitioning, I don't want to say transit. Remember, they transitioned with us, the experiments, and then it's not working. Let us go back to where we were. Musi goes. I'm very thankful to Musi that he resigned after the elections. Because had he resigned before, the list was not going to be as it was. He was very intentional and deliberate to say black leaders are returning to parliament, but hardworking ones. Yes. Thank God, remember, I kept on working hard to survive the system so that when I reached to PDA being evaluated, I meet the targets. So when Musi was deliberate about that, I made it through and I was number 2. And I was like, whew, what a sign. Then that is how I got in. What led to it? Remember, you're being disadvantaged. Popularity within the DA is based to the white constituency because that is where majority of the vote come from, even though they will say otherwise. That is where the majority of votes come from. Earlier on, I mentioned that I sat on the transport and community safety portfolio. As a politician, you get your relevance, popularity through the work that you do, the issues that you do drive. There's farm matters in the province. I want to raise it. Undermining, issue out a statement. What am I told? You can't raise that. You can't raise it. Why? No, let the Lisa raise it. He's white. He's a farmer. He sits on the agriculture portfolio. So slowly, I'm losing popularity because I'm being restricted from driving white issues. Only after when we were under administration, I was able to issue them out because, I would give punches and fight and whatnot. So that is what happened. You cannot drive white issues. Now I go to my little corner. I have to drive black issues.
So they pretend they don't see color.
Yes.
But operationally, you were told the person who's best placed to pursue this one was a white man.
Why? Because we've got the Freedom Fund. We had the late Honorable Maritz, may his soul rest in peace. Maritz is here. I mean, how will the farmer see it? Let him drive it. You're not being told that you're black. You're being told he's white and Maritz is white. So, it's an issue of numbers thing. Let him drive it. So because I'm restricted from driving white issues, I go to my little corner, drive what? Black issues.
They don't give you traction because are not listened to by your constituents.
Remember, the researchers, the support staff, they are not there to support you. They're there to support the leader or whoever has the power. You have to do now your research. Come with ways to say, on transport, I can drive issues of police station. Oh, escapees, libraries on sports arts and social development treatment center. So you have to think on what you can do. And Black issues are not treated as a solved thing. Black issues are driven to give us mileage. I remember being introduced in 2017 to a guy in
PR.
Yes, it's PR stunt. I remember being introduced to a guy in Valvater. By then he was 29 years old. Like, oh, this is who is so and who. He doesn't have an ID. His mother passed on. Home Affairs does not want to give him an ID. See what you can do. You know, on a lighter, it's a known issue. I took the issue, drove it. We don't have a provincial department, back and forth with the regional office of Home Affairs up until he had an ID. When SASA issues come in, like, oh, okay, no, this is your cause. You can feel it like, oh, the Black issues are coming. But here's a SASA issue. I remember the leader, oh, you've got a close relationship with the MEC. I'm like, but all of us have a close relationship. Why don't you drive? So SASA issues, Black things, you know, so those are the issues that I found myself to be relevant, and I stumbled on special schools within the portfolio committee that I was looked down on. It's an oversight committee. So I drove issues of education from a side of people with disability. The leader sits on education. He's only driving it from a document. Remember, now I go to the ground person to do oversight.
But
now,
the taking order.
Yes, but
He's the leader. He gets the chunk of the meat.
No. Remember, you get the chunk of the meat if you work for it. But if you're going to sit and you run media statements on document, on the report of the department says, the report of the department, I'm going beyond the reports, talking to principals, bringing new issues that are not known, you know, exposing them. So obviously, I'm becoming a challenge. I think, because I don't have a regret, I think what came a final nail on the coffin for them was 2021 when I raised myself. We were having a provincial congress, and I said, I'll be contesting as a deputy provincial chair. And I think that was the nail on the box. Like, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you? Okay. The Congress was postponed. There were issues of maladministration, finance towards the leader. He was suspended for 2 years. Now I want to come to how I was being dealt with outside to go nicely. Now he's suspended.
Hold it there.
Yes.
They suspended
the provincial leader.
Provincial leader. Who is
Jack Smale.
Jack
Smale.
Is it Jack?
Yes.
In Jack Callis.
Yes, Jack Smale. Smale.
Smale.
Yes, Smale, yes.
Smale.
Yes.
So he was the Limpopo chairperson?
No, provincial leader. We've got leader and the chairperson, yes.
Okay, leader. Who's more superior between the leader and the chairperson?
The leader.
The leader, yes. Okay. And then how much do they accuse him of having child?
It was not known, still not known. Remember, we were going towards...
Even you.
Yes.
Even you inside in the Limpopo leadership, you did not know finances. All you knew is all you knew is a white leader has child money.
Yes, child money, maladministration, allegations of him manipulating the Congress because at one time he had delegates on his farm. So, you know, those allegations were there, but you don't know what is what.
So these are typical ANC issues.
Yes, even if you go into Google now, you Google what was said, the Congress was put on hold, administrators came, Jess Masango, and the current Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly, they did come, the whip. He's suspended from party activities.
And
he's not coming to the legislature. My other colleague, it was his first term. Now I'm a danger, a real danger, because I'm the whip. He's not attending sittings. You have to attend sittings. Everybody's losing. You have to keep the DA banner up. I have to do all of this. I was an acting spokesperson on agriculture, education, and also when I was almost targeted, because I was a target throughout with the administrators, we had by-elections in Belabela whereby the Freedom Front beat us hugely so. The administrator said to me, you have to knock off when the VD closes. It was knocking off at night. And I said, I can't. It's a midterm budget speech tomorrow in the legislature. He's suspended. He's not attending sittings like he should. The other colleague, I think he was off to... He was also in the campaign, but he was booked to sleep over. And they said, we don't care. Remember, if I knock off early here, you prioritized legislature work, which seems like a luxurious work. If I don't attend the sitting, they are going to come and hammer me. You're the whip. No one was represented. So I had to drive at 10 o'clock from Belavela behind trucks on the N-word in a high-risk car as a young woman, hoping for the best to reach in Polokwane, to wake up, go to the sitting. I'm alone in the benches representing the DA. And I'm also just hiding my head so that they don't hammer me. So the suspicion came and left, and the leader comes back as if nothing happens, and we are being told that now we are going to swap. Then Desiree swap. She was the caucus chairperson in National Assembly. She comes into the province. Remember, I'm the whip, almost 10 years. Normally, I should be the leader. She comes in from Cape Town to swaps with Jack Smale. She's now the caucus leader for 3 months. Then we have a Congress. I re-stand again, and I'm not elected, Obviously, with any Congress, there are things behind closed doors. So I don't make it back. But the leader makes it back as a provincial chair now.
The one that is alleged to have stolen.
Yes, remember, all is well. The report said, no problem, wara. Now he contests. If you remember, there was an issue in KZN when Musi was a leader of Diana Kulabanat. And when she reached a post of, I think, to do with safety, she was reallocated a portfolio. And under Musi's leadership, they then said, you cannot stand for any position. So you would expect the same for Jack. So now, obviously, things have changed. So Daisy comes in for only 3 months. We have a Congress. The new leader comes. They swap. She's in. A cold shoulder. Extreme cold shoulder. Now I can see that, okay, it's a confirmation, because I always say that when another MP goes out, you're not number 100 anymore, you're number 99. When people say, one day they're going to dump you, we know. I knew that my day was going to come. The only thing I fought for was that as a politician, you're just on the number of term you fully commit. So I was not going to allow to be pushed out mid-term. I wanted to finish my term.
Yeah.
The second.
So you finished your term. You did 2 terms.
Yes, I did 2 terms.
2014.
Yes.
To 2019.
2024. The first term 2014, 2019, 2019 to 2020.
Yes, 2 terms.
Yes.
And then what do you do now? Are you still with DA?
Right now, no, I'm not with the DA.
Why did you leave the DA?
I did not leave. Remember, they kicked me out.
Explain this, because if you're no longer in the provincial legislature.
Yes, I'm not with the Democratic Alliance anymore. Remember, like I said, the new leader comes in. Now is a confirmation. Remember, white people get excited by the future. As about Thomas Maholoka won, them knowing that Susan is not coming back, it's a good confirmation that she is gone. You get isolated by your support staff. They don't listen to you. You don't get emails anymore. You don't get required for any approvals. You don't get consulted for anything. Then I realized that, okay, these people are going to push me out. Remember, it is 2023 when I realized what is going on. I'm not proud of it, but I strategically had to buy traditional stuff, traditional cloth in jet and a bit. I only wore them when I went to the Democratic Alliance things and not the legislature, trying to buy time to say, if they dare fire me, I can say that I've got a calling, just so that, because the DA thinks about PR, how it will look on the outside. So I used traditional self to claim as if I was busy with callings, because right now the harms are a lot. I have to go to the constituency. I have to reach targets, and I can see that I am strategically being failed. What am I going to use to protect myself with? I can't always issue out doctor's notes to survive whatever that is coming my way, because I can see that they want to push me out. Remember, in 2014, I was supposed to be sworn in March. There was a lady called Macy Kennedy, but she's now with the EFF. she was being pushed out as well. She had a close relationship, I think, with her colleagues within the ANC. And they delayed because the speaker is available, no longer available. Then I got sworn in eventually in May. So when that started happening, I knew that, okay, the list is almost finalized. Whoever that is coming to replace me, they want to get her sworn in. And remember in the DA, when we fight, we're not only fighting professionally, we're fighting personally. We made you. You weren't like this when you got this. You didn't have this and that. So if we push her out, we disadvantage her on getting certain financial benefits of serving a full term. So I really had to fight and protect myself with those traditional things to say, if they dare fire me, they will think twice to say, hey, it will look bad firing a person who's trying. Anyway, let us place her at number 10. So they placed me at number 10. January 2024, a media statement comes out from the federal chairperson, Helen Zille. My colleague and I, who did not come back, Risham Maharaj, we open our emails. Remember, there's no morning hi with the current provincial caucus leader. All is done. We're not greeting each other. Nothing. It is hostile. And we read it. She basically says that we are almost at the end of the selection process. A lot of people did not make it. Some will cry racial, whatever. So now the party is preempting you from talking on what is going on, because obviously your Martianas, they were long standing there under the shadow to say, one day we are going to tell you your white people are going to dump you. So if I spoke then of what was going on, nobody was going to listen to me. It's like, we told you so. They are managing whatever's going to happen. And I said to my mom, I'm not going to react the way that they want me to react. I'm not going to go to the media. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to outburst. I'm just going to continue working. I continued with the legislature work up until the time the term ended. The Democratic Alliance, I can say, is not a political party. It is a company. In politics, I would say, a congress, you go to the ground, you rework yourself back. In the DA, when you're dismissed, That is why I'm saying I'm not with the DA. If you come back...
Did they give you a firing letter?
No, they did not give me. Remember,
you are not a member.
I'm not a member.
Did you not renew your membership?
I'm not a member. I did not renew my membership with the Democratic Alliance. They're firing, hence why I say...
So you fired yourself?
No, I did not fire myself. It's a constructive dismissal. The party by that in 2024 was targeting for 5 seats because we have targets. We are targeting 5 seats. Now explain, because when we apply, you write issues that you've driven. I think at that time, the minimum was driving 2 issues. I have driven 34 issues in the past year of 2023-2024, 34. The interview, when I was being interviewed, it was a virtual interview. My constituency chair wasn't there. At one time, they went mute. I couldn't hear the conversations that were happening at the provincial office. They came back and muted. I tried to explain. I wrote an appeal to Helen's office to say, this is what is happening. And the appeal came back and said, there's nothing wrong. All happened within those lack of discrepancy of being muted, not being able to hear what was being discussed. And regardless of issuing out my proof of work, at one point they said I did not have matric, because that is how they wanted to chase me out, the media, to say it does not have matric. And I wrote back and said, how did I survive the 2014 and the 2024 without a matric? I can, resend. And eventually they got it. They gave me a mark, because you get a mark for almost everything. So if the party is targeting 5 seats in an election and you are being put on number 10, that is nothing. That is just purely constructive dismissal, because they eventually got 4 seats.
Are you hoping to go back into active politics?
Active politics? No. And I will say this as honest, because when we had a conversation, you and I, you said, what are you hoping to achieve,
What does this interview give you?
And I came in 2014. Of course, I'm not young anymore. I'm grown, but I'm not old. I've grown now. People listens to me. There are people who still meet me go molo and say, "Rana buthatha ba sekolo sa so umoga." And the other day I bumped into one lady and she said to me, "I'm sure if it's in DA." You know, a big.
Now I want to know, what do you do and what do you want to do?
And with this interview, I guess I want to say to people who supported me, to followed me, citizens who are proud of my work, to let them know that I'm not with the DA anymore. The DA dealt with me as with any leader. It was my time. I was not surprised. It was my time. I actually survived as an accidental parliamentarian. Just for people to know that I'm not with the Democratic Alliance. I'm not hoping to achieve anything. Am I hoping to go back into active politics? I never planned to go into politics.
What do you do?
I wrote, I'm home. I'm eating and sleeping.
So
I'm resting. It was a lot.
resting, hoping to do what?
Hoping to in the future, hopefully, not hopefully, in the future, empower myself educationally. So get to know my mom more, because that work stole me from her. The age of 22, I only came back at the wee hours. We are picking bags. We are being driven away. To know my little sister as well. She's currently doing her honors now. So to be a present daughter, a present sister, a present granddaughter, and to also relink with myself, to be quite honest, politics took a lot from me. I was young. I lost a lot.
Someone who's retiring at 65.
I'm not retiring. I'm not retiring.
For that speech you just gave us, it's something that we're expecting from the ANC old mamas, not from you. You still have, still have a lot in your tank.
I think I've made peace. Remember, when you're an accidental parliamentarian, you know that I was not supposed to have been given that platform from the start. So I've made peace with that. Politics vomited me out, if I can put it that way.
Okay, it's fine. You don't know what you're hoping to go and do. You are not going back into active politics. Are you starting a career afresh? Are you looking for a new career?
Yes, definitely looking for a new, after resting and empowering myself further educationally and knowing myself, because all I know is politics. I sit guy, I talk to my mom, she's like, opposition, she will you know, the language, I have to tone it down. I have to go and be a youth. I have to go out and date, catch up with my youthness, the little that I'm left with.
Yeah.
And go back and start marketing and get a job, and hopefully, a brighter future lies ahead away from politics.
I want to tell you, don't leave politics. This is me telling you, don't leave politics. You still have a lot in your tank. But
can I tell you something?
Yes.
Can I respond to that quickly?
Please do.
Politics.
Because we're closing.
Yes, we're closing. If I can put it this way, the current politics, it's a die days of politics, you know. Every political party is on a decline. Despite the DA saying they are growing, they've reached a ceiling, hence why they went into the GNU, because there's no more growing, you know. The politics of today, when you engage, you have conversations, you know, and you show interest, somebody will look at you and say, do you want to be a mayoral candidate for our party? Not in a good way, like, don't come here with your experience. So space. We've been working here for. So
also, you meaning the quoting other political people, you might threaten them as if
exactly. Yes. 10 years ago. So hence why I'm saying I've made a decision to say politics is, I'm not intentionally going back to it. I never went to the DA thinking I would be in parliament. I just went for fun, to be quite honest, as a young person, to be an active citizen. And I ended up in.
And I want to tell you, you can still do a lot of work with research with all political parties. I've made a podcast in the election year of 2024, taking people through what is it that they can give political parties, how they can make money from political parties. Those I'll attach it at the end of this podcast for those who would know, because there is a lot to be done in politics.
Yes,
You don't have
yes,
to be
quite a
a
lot.
player.
Yes,
When you
I
retire,
agree.
you can offer something in the field.
And the
I
politics of it,
you don't waste your
make
10
sure.
years. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
The 10 years that you have gained, a lot of people don't have it.
yes.
So don't let it go to waste. Well, but anyway, thank you for coming. Anything you want to say in closing?
Anything in closing was that it's that I have no regret. I gained a lot. I've got a 10-year experience. I'm quite happy with the platform that I've been given by yourself. When I called, you did not hesitate to say, who is she? Because a lot of time people look into the National Assembly MPs, and there's a lot of power and manipulation in legislature. So I do appreciate this opportunity. And I think this is a final chapter of closing the political career. Because I've worked, I came in, they spoke for me, I also worked, and now I'm just closing it off. I hope people on Facebook won't say, where are you? What are you doing? So now I have closed it. Thank you so much, Kela.
I don't think you have closed it, but I don't want to debate you. Mashian politically incorrect. There's a gem. I don't think she was used. She was given school fees paid for 10 years by the Democratic Alliance. Do I blame DA? No. There isn't everyone who works in every political party. In fact, I would say she has Saba. Do you know Colin Makubela? So not Colin Makubela. Her name is kana ke mang ngwana wa ko Giyane.
Punani
Makubela. I'm confusing Punani and Colin. Punani Makubela has been in the National Assembly. She even had to take the ANC to court. She even won it, and she was promised $1 million. She went to MK. She went from MK to ANC. From ANC, she went back to. So the reason I'm telling you that is people have seen the West. What she has received at DA, it's normal politicking, and I don't actually blame DA. In fact, I want to applaud it that they took a 22-year-old, gave her 10 years free education in politics. Hers is just to take this and plow it forward. Machine political and call it Etada. Fanak.
Thank you.
Etada. Ola.